Welcome to Stuck, Time to Improv. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startups to be wildly successful. Today, we're talking to one of my favorite people to interview, and that is an investor. Tony Wilkins from Standing Oaks Venture Partners is here to talk about what he wants to invest in. Welcome, Tony.
Thanks, Mary. Thanks for having me on. How are you today?
I'm great. And you have a particular way to decide what kind of startups you want to invest in, correct?
I do, very particular.
So let's talk about that. How'd you come up with your formula?
Well, Mary, I have been investing for a very, very long time, and I've been blessed with a very good memory for each and every mistake I possibly ever made. And most of those mistakes have to do with people believing too much in what they had to say, hanging on too long to a relationship before I go, this is not working. And I just kept saying, what am I missing? What am I doing? And what am I doing? How could I do it better? And it kind of boiled down to a number of things that I said, I'll never do again, or I'll only ever do with certain people. Because in any business, it's not about the technology or the markets or the opportunities or the pricing or the weather or the wind or the presidential election. It's about the people. So I really have focused in on people. And I think that's something that I can get better and better at until the day I leave this earth. So that's what I'm working on. And you probably want me to tell you what that formula is, right?
Oh, yes, we do want to hear what that formula is.
All right. So here it is. It's IC squared R cubed. Now, for those of us who didn't have to suffer through calculus, it is the letter I, and then there's two C's, the letter C's, and then three letter R's. And you have to add plus love to all that, but I'll explain it to you. So I means integrity. That means, can I trust you? Have you ever lied to me? Are you a person who tends to stretch the truth? Or are you just really an open, honest person? And that's really maybe the most important thing. And a lot of people have a tough time with the truth. They like to stretch it. They like to beat it out of all condition, or maybe they think it's true, but it's not really what reality says. So integrity is big. The next one is chemistry. And chemistry, Mary, is just, how do you feel when you meet somebody? You know, when you and I met and we were sitting there talking and I saw your head bobbing like, oh, I've seen that movie before. This guy, I get this guy. That's chemistry. Just a feeling like, hey, I kind of like this person. I like what they have to say. And it's important. Chemistry is important because when you're investing in early stage companies, quite frequently, it could take 5-10 years before the fruits of your labor actually come to fruition. So you have to kind of be able to pick up the phone and say, oh, it's Mary, as opposed to, oh, it's Tony. So chemistry is very, very important. Coachability. There's so many things that we don't know. And when you're starting an entirely new business or new industry, you have to be very respectful of what you don't know. And when you're a younger person, there's certainly a boatload of older people, and then maybe a smaller boatload of older people who have done what you've done or who've done something similar to what you've done. And if you're not willing to honestly and fully accept what it is they're saying, I'm not saying you have to do what they say you're saying, but just consider it and be coachable, well, you'll never get anywhere. I mean, many times, those of us who played sports, whether it was in grammar school or college, you get a great coach, and your great coaches will say that person did well because they were coachable. So entrepreneurs need to be coachable. So you got integrity, chemistry, coachability. Now the three R's. It's not reading, writing, and arithmetic. It is resilience. You know, you have the ability to bounce back up after you get hit with something that's unforeseen. It's resourcefulness, being able to come up with something that is new and unusual. And you often see moms with 2 or 3 kids and 3 and 4 jobs being resourceful with the pennies and nickels of how to make it stretch. You want to be able to look at that person and say, I don't know how you did that, but that's amazing. Resourcefulness. And then responsiveness, which is one that it took me a lot longer to accept that really simple metric. But look, I'm a pretty busy person. You're a pretty busy person. If somebody who wants my money or my time or my contacts can't get back to me in a reasonable amount of time with all the ways we can get back to people, email, voicemail, phone calls, text, WhatsApp, homing pigeons, knocking by somebody's door and knocking on the door. If you can't get back to me in a reasonable amount of time before I get the money, then you're never going to get back to me after you get the money. And that's just common sense. And with younger people now, I'm even more stringent about how responsive they are because they're doing this all the time. If I pop up, I would hope that, I show up on the list. And then the final thing is love. And Mary, love really encompasses a lot of things, not romantic love or anything like that, but just, do I love these folks? Do I really feel like they have what it takes? Do they resonate with who I am? Are they somebody I'd like to introduce to my friends, my family, and talk about when I'm in a social environment? If you love the founders that you're working with, it's more likely that even if you don't make a financial return on your investment of time and money and resources and contacts, you'll have a relationship that will be satisfying in many other ways and probably show up in a financial respect someplace else. I have a number of founders that I invested in that the business that they started that I invested in didn't work out, but geez, I love them. And every time they call me and tell me they had another baby or they're starting a new business, I'm so happy to talk to them. And I walk away feeling good. And isn't that what money is all about? And isn't that what relationships are all about? So it's integrity, coachability, chemistry, resourcefulness, resilience, responsiveness, plus love.
Plus love. That is a fantastic formula. You've really summed it up in a concise and relatable way. And it really also has to do with founders who are willing to make mistakes and learn from their mistakes. They don't go into it knowing it all. So thank you very much, Tony Wilkins from Standing Oaks Venture Partners. This has been great hearing your formula. We'll put contact information in the comments so people can get a hold of you. What kinds of things do you personally like to invest in? Are there particular industries?
Well, of course, there's a formula for that too, Mary. It is globally scalable, disruptively efficient digital properties led by amazing people who fit all those criteria, where I think I can get 10 times my return within 10 years before dilution. And that's usually not real estate or franchises or restaurants. It's usually something digital. Think Airbnb or Uber or Calendly. It's those kinds of things that people just slap their foreheads and say, oh my gosh, I couldn't do without it. Those are the things I'm looking for.
Okay, now you startups know to be in the zone before you go bother Tony.
There you go. Thanks, Mary. So good to see you.
Yeah, this is Mary Scott with Business Trip. I want startups to be wildly successful. And one of the best things you can do to get there is book a phone call with me at businessriff.com. And join us again next time for Stuck, Time to Improv.